to MATLAB's lecture series. In this lesson, we'll be treating scripts versus functions, scripts and functions, the difference between scripts and functions, what scripts and functions are. Right. So a script is a .m file. I think we've seen how to create .m files, but we haven't explicitly stated what a script is. So a script is just a sequence of commands. So you have commands listed out, carrying out some operation perhaps, or perhaps you're just testing out code. You can do that by creating a script in the editor window. Now, let's see an example of a script. So this is the command window. Here's our editor window. Let me expand this, close this, right? So here this is our editor window. Let's create a script, sorry. So I hit the plus button here, create a script. Optionally, you could come to home here and then click on this, create a new script, or come here and create a new script. So after I write the commands here, I will save it and it will appear in my my files explorer there. Okay, so as I've said before, a script is a .m file, right? So you have a bunch of commands written out here, and then when you run them in your command window, all the commands here will run one by one. So it's just a sequence of commands. So let's take, for instance, x is equal to 1 through, let's not say 1 through, let's do something simple like 90. Okay, let that be distance, radius, then area will be pi r squared, pi times radius raised to radius raised to the power of 2. And then I want this displayed, so I'll use the display function. The area of the circle is the area. So if I save this now, I will save it in my test folder. Save it with the name simple script 1. Alright, so here we have simple script. Now let's open up a command window. I'll be able to run the script. Actually, from here you can come over to the home and the editor tab, and you should be able to find the run button that will run the script. It's not found the current folder or the MATLAB path. To run this file, you can either change the current MATLAB path, change the MATLAB current folder or add its path. You can add to path so that MATLAB will be able to find the script, or you can change the path to where the script exists. So you can just click on add to path and then you have this. The area of the circle is, so it's written in, why is it writing it in Chinese? Let me see. Let's try this again. Save this and then run it again. We just call the name, just write out the name of the script, and it's going to call it out because MATLAB knows where to find it. That's what add to path means. MATLAB knows where to find this particular script. So you just call the name of the script without the .m extension, and it will just run each line of code and print it out. The DISP means this means display, so it's going to display whatever you pass in as arguments out here in your command window. So the area of the circle is 2.547 times 10 to the power 10, right? Okay, now let's try something funny. Alright, so save this as just 3. Yeah. Let me try something else. should be pi squared pi. If this is the square root of pi, then this is pi times pi, which will be square root of pi. Alright, next let's create now a function. So this is a script, very simple. You just write out the commands and it displays. You can have more stuff here, like length being 36, and then width being 42, and then you could go height 11, and volume be length times width times height EIGHT, and then display volume this height, sorry, not height, volume. Save this and then call the name unrecognized. I misspelled width. Why did I misspell it? Save, run again. Right, so there it is. So it's very simple. You just call the name and each command is run, and whatever you specify to be displayed is displayed out. Now what if you want to create a function? The function is very similar to a script, but it's more structured. One thing about the script is that each variable that you create here has the same workspace as this. So if we come here, if I create x equals 32, you expect to find this in among our variables here. So x that we just created in our command window appears here, but also you have area, height, length, radius, volume, and width, all of which you defined here within the script. So the variables created within the script can also be found, and the variables created within the script and the variables created within the command window are all within the same workspace. They're all within the same scope. So if you create a variable here, you can access it here. Create a variable here, you can access it here. Okay, so they share the same workspace. But a function is different. The function has its own local scope or its own local workspace. And first thing you need to do is you need the keyword function to start a function. So this tells MATLAB that you're creating a function, okay, not an ordinary script. The next thing is the output variable. This is, so as I said, a function takes in an input and gives an output, right, ordinarily. So you need to know what the output is and then specify it here. Next, you have the function name and then the input variables. And then at the end of your function, you'll have the end keyword. So this is typically how a function is created. You have the function, output variable, name of the output variable, or output variables, function name, and the input variable. Okay. So let's take, for instance, we'll create a simple function that calculates the area of a circle. So the name of our function will be area of a circle. Output can be area, and the input will be radius. Okay. All we need to do now within the function is to calculate this area. So the area will be pi times radius squared. Squared. And that's all. So now we save this function, area of a circle, inside our test folder. Area of a circle will now be a function that will be saved in this area. in this sorry, that folder. So let me call it a different thing. Let me change the name here because I believe we have area already in our workspace. Yes, area. So let's specify this so that we'll know that it's coming from the function area set area set area. Right. So this is now set area. And note that the name of the output here must be the same as the name of the variable that you create here. So if you do not create the specified output here, MATLAB is going to realize that you specified that you have an output. This is going to be output, but you haven't declared it or defined it anywhere within the function body. So you need to do that. If not, you'll keep having this what was it? This error flag here. So as long as you have the output predefined at the beginning of your function declared within the function body, you would have that error. So this now is our function. Let's come over to the command window and test it out. So the same thing we're going to do, set area. But remember, our function takes in an input radius. So if we do this 3, we're going to get returned. Okay, sorry. Area of a circle. That's the name of our function. Area of a circle. And then passing the radius 3 is going to give us the output. Okay. So that is the area of the circle of radius pi. So let's try this again. 3,1,4,1,9,6, 5, 3, whatever. So that gives us that, which I do believe is the same thing as, yes. Okay, now this is a very simple function. Okay, so in the next lesson we'll create a different function, something slightly more complex, and we'll see how we can use functions inside of scripts. Functions that we defined, we use them inside of scripts.